In the last video, we looked at how to write an equation or rewrite an equation into vertex form from standard form. What we're going to look at today is how do you create your own equation of a quadratic, and the easiest way to do that is in vertex form. So this question is asking me to write the equation of a parabola that has the same shape as the graph f of x equals 2x squared. But the point 3, -5 is the vertex. So this one has a vertex of 0, 0. And all we need to do is shift the vertex so that it is at 3, -5. So in order to do that, I'm going to start out with f of x. And I want to keep this 2 out in front. So it's going to be 2. Then I open my parentheses, x, and I need to subtract the x value of my vertex. So I'm going to subtract this 3. And then I'm going to square it. And then I'm going to put the -5 at the end. So we're going to enter this into my box. And they already have the f of x equals in there. So when I put this in and I check my answer, I get it correct. When you have a graph, you need to know your vertex and you need to know at least one other point on the graph. It will be very beneficial if you know one point on either side. So 1 unit away from this vertex, that point's going to be very helpful. And I'm going to show you how to use that as we rewrite it in vertex form. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write f of x equals, and right now I'm not sure what the a is. So I'm going to leave that space open. And I'm going to write x minus, and the x value of my vertex is -2. So when I have minus -2, that turns into +2. Close my parentheses. And then I have plus k, which is 6 in this example. Now, to figure out what this a value is, I'm actually going to make my graph a little bit bigger. And the a value is a scaling factor. And if I go 1 unit away, right here I'm at -2, 6. And if I go to -1, I'm down here at 2. And the difference between this point right here, which is -1, 2, that difference in the y value, I go from 6 down to 2. So I am subtracting 4. So my a value, because my graph opens downward, my a value is going to be -4. So now if I go back in here, I can put a -4 in, and I will enter my answer so that we can check it. And now that I have that equation entered and I check my answer, we have it correct. Let's look at one more example. This time we won't have a graph, so we'll have to do a little bit more work. For this last example, we are given the vertex and some other random point on our parabola. So we're asked to rewrite it into vertex form, and vertex form, normally we have f of x. We can also write it as y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. And if you write it with your x and your y and your h and your k, that's going to be helpful because we can plug these numbers in. Remember, my vertex is the hk, so that's where we will plug those numbers in. And any point is always in the form x, y. So we're going to plug these numbers into those values there. So the y has a value of -6. The a, I don't know about that one yet, so I'm just going to leave it as an a. The x has a value of 3 minus my h, which is 1. Close the parentheses and square that, plus the k, which in this example is 2. So I'm going to bring down -6, and I'm going to simplify this a little bit. So I have 3 minus 1, which is 2, and I square my 2, and that gives me 4, and that's being multiplied by the a. And then finally I have this plus 2. So now I solve this just like a regular algebraic equation. Subtract the 2 over. That gives me -8 equals 4 times a. Divide by 4. So the a has a value of -2. Now, to rewrite it, there are a few things that I need. I'm going to fill in the a, and I'm going to fill in my vertex. So that equation is going to become f of x equals the -2, parentheses, x minus 1, close, plus my k, which is 2. So when I write this equation, I could write it as a y, but the equation up here already has the f of x. You have to leave the x and the f of x or the y in your final answer, but you're filling in your a, your h, and your k. So let me enter this into my box. And now that I have it typed in, I will check my answer, and I have it correct. Hopefully this video helps. Feel free to rewind and review if as many times as needed. And if you have any questions, ask me in class.